Hey guys, it's Crossroads here. Today I wanted to talk to you about why I'm not taking profit on SoFi. SoFi is a name that was undervalued for such a long time. We were pounding the table about it when it was five, six, seven, $8. Now, of course, it's over $16 a share, close out the week, and it just continues to run. Now, the question is, it's run so much. Why am I not taking profits? Well, first, you need to know at least how I think about taking profits. And I hope that this video is helpful for you. If you're kind of wondering that, if you're newer in the market, let me know what you're thinking as far as when you'll take profits. But for myself, if they're shares, and I have shares and I also have leap options for SoFi. But with the shares, I only take profits on shares if I need the money, if the thesis has changed, and if it's run into extremely expensive territory. Now, for SoFi, first thing, obviously, I don't need to take the money right now. We do plan to possibly buy another Tesla this next year, and maybe I'll take some off the table from a lot of my different positions, just a little bit from each, some from physical silver, some from cash as well, and not have to have a loan that way. That would be nice. Now, as far as the thesis for SoFi, is the thesis still intact? Well, the easy answer is yes. Lending platform is certainly going to be flying again. It guided for last year, basically zero growth. They're actually going to have some growth this year, but they're really ramping it a lot. We saw that in quarter 3. We saw that with comments from Anthony Noto and Chris Lapointe. And so I think that they're going to continue to do very, very well. It'll be interesting to see how they guide in quarter 4 earnings for the next year. But given the guidance that they've submitted through 2026, it's very likely that lending will continue to be accelerating. As rates continue to fall as well, that's another tailwind for SoFi as they are primarily looking to refinance and help people with those refinancing needs. And so this platform will grow significantly. Financial services, likewise, there's some lending products there as well, especially with their lending platform. But financial services has accelerated dramatically. And then, of course, today we got news, maybe it was today or maybe it was yesterday, of an additional partnership that they have between Galileo and another player. So tech platform seems like it's doing okay. Lending and financial services are as well. And so I think that the thesis is intact. Leadership hasn't changed. My price target for SoFi base level, this isn't the bull case, is $25 over this next year. Of course, that sounded a lot crazier when I said it when it was $7 a share, but now we're here at 16. Seems quite reasonable. I think it can also go higher as well. So I would say that it is not in extremely expensive territory just yet. It's just in my fair value range. And so even if it went into like $20, $25, I still wouldn't be selling my shares. I'd like to have those long term. But you might be asking, what about my options? Well, let me show you this. Usually I don't share much of my positions, but I do want to share this here. This is part of my SoFi position. It's in my Roth account. It's one of, I think, 3 different Leaps contracts that I have with SoFi in my Roth. But this one, for example, is 2026. It's actually my next expiring one. So I have a little over a year and some change left with this. And this is in my Roth, so it is a tax-advantaged account. And you can see that we've done pretty well, that I ended up, the average cost is $1.21. And if you look at this chart, you can see we almost scooped them up at the very low for the year. So usually that doesn't happen for me. But I was like, hey, if the market wants to give me stupid SoFi prices, I will load up on Leaps as well as the shares. And so as a result, we're up 547% on these SoFi Leaps that we bought, September 10th. So really good return. Usually when something runs up that fast, if they're options, because you either need to exercise them or take profits at some point, I'll take some profits. I haven't done that yet. Now, for options themselves, you can see the expiration date is January 16th, 2026. I tend to not take profits. Well, let me back up. For these options, when I get within 3 months of the expiry, unless I plan to exercise them, I usually sell them. The reason why is theta decay is something that certainly ramps up. There's theta right there. It's very, very low. But as the time gets closer to that expiration date, this begins to really eat in the contracts unless they're deeply in the money. And we're in the money somewhat. You can see the delta is at 86 right now, but it's not quite, there yet. So I'm not quite ready as far as the timing. Now, if this was in a non-tax advantaged account, and I do have some SoFi Leaps in my just cash account, I tend to wait for at least a year on those. And so I usually sell them out for 2.5 years in advance just to take profits. Simple reason is short-term capital gains tax is much larger than the long term. I like to pay that 10% rate, not whatever the short term actually is. So as far as SoFi, I like to also look and think where I expect this to run. And so I don't want to get overly greedy with these, even though I think that SoFi is very likely to go to at least 25 this next year. That's again my base target. I'll take profits here about $20. Now, here's a tool that Robinhood has. There are also options calculators out there that let you simulate this as well. But let's look and see if we move up to $20. Let's see, I usually use this on my app. So I can actually do it right here. All right. So let's switch that. And you can see the simulated returns. It goes from about 520% gains to 820 something percent gains. Let's say that maybe it hits $20 in May. We're still up quite a bit from where we are. And we would still have 259 days to expiry. So, if SoFi continues to run to $25, it's not going to obviously get there tomorrow, but let's say it hits there in July. And you can see this is going down over time because of theta decay, although it's not as much when it's deeply in the money. That's over a 10x. I think that probably a lot of my options will hit that point, but I'm looking to take profit about that 700% mark. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove about 12 to 14% of my options just to cover most of my original outlay. It may not get to 20. I might be like 19 and some change. Like that's fine. I don't like hold fast and wait for that $20 mark. It is a psychological resistance. But anyway, that's what I'm looking for. Now, could we get to $20 before the end of the year? Absolutely. SoFi is on a tear. We're in a bull market. Santa rally seems like it's coming. And of course, the Cyber 5 were very, very good. And so it looks like the consumer is healthy. Likely another rate cut on the way as well. And so I think that there's a good chance that I would say not great chance, but maybe like a 25% chance that we'll see $20 by the end of the year. $20 is probably coming in the beginning of the year, even though I think that we're going to have a pullback in January. But I have all this time to wait. And of course, there's some decay on the options as I wait. There is an opportunity cost as well. But I view SoFi still as just fairly valued and with a long, long way to run. So that's myself. I plan to not take profits quite yet. In my stocks, not at all. In my options, I'll wait a little bit. And just on these, by the way, I'll just add, I have some 2027 that are also $10 strike. I won't show you guys those today, but they're up not quite as much as these ones. But those I plan to just hold until very close to expiration, or at least until Anthony Noto, Chris Lapointe, and his team get their mid-year 2026 PSUs. Of course, they have that 25, 35, and 45 target for SoFi. And I think they'll be doing anything and everything they can to get the stock up. It's great when my interests as a shareholder are aligned with management's. Usually ends up to be some good things. So let me know what you think. Are you taking profits here in SoFi? There's nothing wrong with doing that. You know your own personal situation better than I do. And thank you all, as always, for tuning in. And for now, happy investing.